Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, which will focus on using Google Drive to create an effective learning area. Firstly, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Michael Goldie, and I've been teaching 10 years in primary education. I've always led and been passionate about computing and embracing technology within education as well. I'm an experienced educator using the Google educational platform, and as an academy, Hambleton, we now use and depend on it quite a lot in all areas of our school life. Just going to move on to now the Consortium. This is part of our EdTech supporting network. We're also part of this Consortium. This is 3 schools. We're based, there's Hambleton ourselves. We have Ribblesdale High School in Clitheroe, and Highfurlong Special School, which is in Blackpool. All our expertise, we put it together. It was all acknowledged by the DFE, and we were given that accredited status as an EdTech school or consortium. And we now provide a lot of free offer of help or support to any school or educational establishment throughout the UK. I'll provide more details about how to receive this support at the end of the webinar. Okay, so firstly, we've already talked about that there. Firstly, just moving on about what we can actually offer ourselves as part of a consortium. Well, we offer a lot of bespoke CPD for any schools who actually sign up through the London Grid for Learning, the EdTech bid. We can support on loads of things. We can support on the technical elements, any back of house systems that you need support with, provide webinars. We could do them in our 3 different areas of expertise, which are Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, and also any specialist hardware or software. That can be through Highfurlong, or even just using a sounding board. If you want to ask us quick questions, anything regarding EdTech, we'll try our best to support you. So just a bit more about our school, Hambleton. Just to give you about who we are as an academy and how we've come to get this EdTech status, really. So we're an Ofsted outstanding school in the small village of Hambleton in Lancashire. We're 1 form entry. We have 227 children on roll. We run a 1-to-1 iPad scheme through third-party company. They're always given the most affordable iPad. They're given iTunes credits. It's really cheap. Both of my children are here, and I paid for both of them about £28 a month over 3 years. So I think it's really affordable considering how much we need the technology these days. But however, we do understand that not all parents do want to use it or can even afford it. So, you know, we can offer bring your own device, or we make sure we've got enough devices within the school as well. We also have our Google admin suite. Now, most of schools, if you're on here today, you know, you will want the Google admin suite, or you've got the Google admin suite. We use the cloud-based Google Drive system, and that's what the main priority of today's webinar is all about. We have our emails, we put our registers, we do our surveys, our forms, we do everything through our Google educational suite. It's really good. We also have wireless board technology throughout the school. We use a little Microsoft wireless adapter. We also use some software on the computers which can hook up and use have the iPads on, and we also use Apple TVs. So that just ensures that anyone who's coming into the school can connect up any device to any board without having to worry about wires. Makes it really easy. We also support schools within our network. For years, we provided valuable support within FCAT just to make sure that if they need any extra support in regards to tech, we can give them that. And we're also an accredited teaching school through the Fylde Coast Teaching Alliance. And we provide teacher training from qualified teachers, further promoting how technology can be embraced within education. So today's webinar, first thing we're going to talk about is how can we use that Google Drive, and what are the key benefits to having this sort of shared learning space in place? Well, firstly, number one, it's going to be able to create quick access to all your files for all members of staff to share. Now, I know most of you will have a shared learning area, but this one is your Google Drive cloud-based area, and my goodness, if you understand and how to use the full power of it using file stream embedded within a Windows computer, it's massive. It also enables you to access this drive on all devices. I mean, I've got it here on my phone. I've got my drive on there. It's absolutely fantastic. And also it can develop your current remote learning strategy, and it supports teacher workload. And I'll talk a bit about that later on during the webinar. Okay, next. What am I going to do today in this live demonstration? Well, first of all, I'm going to go right back to the start, and I'm going to try and give you a systematic approach to how you can get things set up and also how to use this shared learning environment. I'm also going to show you how we use it to set things like homework, so we still got a hybrid approach to learning, just in case in the eventuality if there is a lockdown or a bubble has to go home, we can switch straight to that remote learning offer. I'm also going to go through things like how to share the drive with team members, setting up working areas, developing online shared registers. We've started doing that this term, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Accessing your area on any mobile device, and preparing and distributing work on the Google Classroom, which I just talked about before, through the shared learning area. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm going to move on to the live demonstration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing the screen with you. And I am now going to move on to sharing my whole screen. And we are going to begin by talking about where do you start first. So the first and most important thing is to get the full power of the Google Drive, you need to have something called Google Drive file stream. So you would start by simply Googling Google Drive file stream. And by clicking on that, it brings you straight up to here. You click on the first tab. And then when you go down here, it gives you the opportunity to download it on Windows devices or on Mac devices. Now, obviously, this is a Windows computer. It already works really well with Chromebooks, but for the majority of schools, you will either have MacBooks or Windows, and you're probably wondering, how can I use my Google Shared Drive? Well, first of all, I'm going to do it from a Windows perspective. So you go on, you simply download the software, and as you can see there, it begins to download. Once that software has downloaded, you open it up, and then you go through all of the credentials, making sure you just download it, etc. So it's working. Then once it's all downloaded, I'm going to cancel that because I've already got it set up. You will see in here, I have got Google Drive file stream just here, there. It's all set up in here. But not only is it set up here, it automatically becomes embedded within File Explorer on Windows. So by clicking on this little folder here, you can see my Google Drive there already. It's now embedded within the actual File Explorer. The beauty of that is that you no longer have to go through a web browser to access any of your files in the Google Drive. It's all here. So I'll just go back out of this. So originally, a lot of you will be familiar with clicking on here, going to your drive and having all of your files all set up in here, struggling to copy them and paste them, upload. But now you've used File Stream, it's automatically connected to your actual File Explorer back of house. So it makes things saving, etc., so much easier. So by clicking on my Google Drive file stream here, I click on my shared drive. And as you can see, this is our Hambleton shared area. We have absolutely everything in here that we need. And the beauty of it is that, let's say you lose an internet connection, you can still access the file. And the beauty and the cleverness of the file stream is that when it picks up a connection later on, it'll automatically begin to sync and upload all the files really well. It's a fantastic platform and works really well. So that's the initial setup. Next thing is sharing your drive with team members. Now, in order to share that drive with team members, what you do need to do is go back into that shared drive on a web browser. And if I click into my shared area here, you will see I have it shared with 37 people. Now, by clicking down, if I click on my manage members area, you can simply add in who you need to that area, and automatically they will get all of the access to that shared area. Really simple. Next, setting up working areas, another really simple process. It's just like setting up a normal file in File Explorer. You simply go into your shared drive, sort out a shared area, and if you want a new area, click a new folder. And if I call it test folder, automatically it's there. And if I, just to check it has worked, if I go into the web browser in here and I go down, what will happen is the test folder also pulls up here. It shows you that it goes up and it pulls everything through to all wherever your users are. It pulls it through straight away. It's really quick and it's really efficient. A lot of people are used to having hard-based servers in their school and paying an absolute fortune for them. Well, this is a free shared learning area. You know, Google Educational Suite is free once you get it set up, and it's all there for you. Your storage is pretty much unlimited. It's a no-brainer, really, and it works absolutely brilliantly. So that's just setting up your working areas. The next thing I wanted to show you was developing online registers. So with the current pandemic, originally, especially in primary schools, registers have been done traditionally. Clipboard, kids go around, and then year 5 or 6s will go around, collect all the registers, take it to the office. Obviously, to reduce footfall in school, we've had to think quick and we've had to put all our registers online. So how have we done that? Well, the way we've done that is by showing you our Google Drive here. If I go to my file stream, shared drives, and I go into my shared area, you will see I've got 0 registers here. And within here, I've already pre-done them. We've set up all the registers right up until the summer. And if I click in autumn 1, we've got every register. And I'm just going to show you here. If we go to our week 3 register and I click in, the whole register is set up there, ready for all of the teachers to fill in. This doesn't need saving. Teachers can just go into it. They click on. I've already put in here formulas, so it automatically finds out how many children are in, etc. You can have as many people as you want on the same form, filling it in at the actual same time. It works really well. The office can connect straight up to it. The dinner lady can find out how many numbers there are for registers, and that can just sit within your shared file stream and everyone can access that at the same time. Really good, works really well. Next thing, accessing your area on a mobile device. Well, what I'm going to do now is, hopefully this works. You should, let me just pull that down. You should see, bear with me. You should see a mirroring 360 screen there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you my phone. So just bear with me. Just mirror this up. This should now connect up. There we are. And you can now hopefully see my device. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is to show you that the drive doesn't have to just sit on a Windows or a Mac. It can also be on your phone. So if I click on Drive, I go to my drive, I click on my shared drive. That same drive, that same shared area here is also available on a mobile device. And like I said before, if I go all the way to the bottom and scroll through, the test folder that I created as well will also populate and come up as well. So it's all in there. And as you can see as well, I can access the registers. It's all there. It can be done so well, really well. Okay, the next thing is going to be, let me just bring that down. I'm now going to talk about how to prepare and distribute work on Google Classroom through the shared learning area. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you our Google Classroom area. Come back to Google, going on my array in the corner, clicking on Classroom. And as you can see, I have access to all our Google Classrooms. I'm going to go to my Year 5 classroom. And in here, I'm going to show you the benefits of having a shared learning area. So what I've done here is I have got my classwork tab and I have got some homework, which is ready to go out tomorrow. I should have changed the date on that. Whoops. But if I click on edit, you can see this is my homework, which I've scheduled to go out tomorrow. Now, earlier in the webinar, I was speaking about the fact that having this hybrid approach to your learning enables all users to make sure you've got them set up. I mean, I did a webinar the other day talking about what you need to have in place and 5 top tips for preparing for our new term at the moment. And one thing was to make sure all your learners have an email allocated to you, your Google Classroom or Teams, depending on what you're doing, but it needs to be in place. So we sort of realized the urgency of that and thought, right, we need to do an audit, make sure every child's in place. New year one children coming to use it, we need to make sure they had something in place. So we did pre-recorded content for parents. We did CPD for teachers, CPD for kids. We made sure we just went back over what we did before the summer to make sure everything was in place. So why am I showing you Google Classroom at the moment when I'm talking about a shared area? Well, first of all, I'm just showing you that setting up a piece of homework, giving them some instructions. And when you upload any work by clicking add and clicking on file, your shared drives also come up here. And what that means is if you are sharing any work, that work can be then automatically clicked and then put up into your Google Classroom as well. And also the beauty of this is that if you are creating things like Google Forms, so for example, we do Google Forms for reflective evaluations. So the children we do a little newsletter to the kids, show them what homework they've got to do. And then the answer, like a reading log of what they've read, reflections, what they've learned, what the proud moment was, etc., and what dojos they've earned. They submit that back to us. I can resend these forms through to other people in the shared area. They can make their own copies and then they can send them out. And what that really does is it just reduces that teacher workload, sharing documents, and any of this information you've seen today, I'm more than happy to share with you as well. Okay, so just going back now to the actual content of what we're talking about today. Let me just go back to the Google Slides presentation. Bear with me. Let me just bring that back up. Okay. Sorry, just bear with me a second. So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen a minute. I'm just going to go back to the meeting. And what I'm now going to do is, just back in the meeting here, I am going to now share back the presentation. Sorry about that, just bear with me. Okay, there we go. So just going back to what I talked about before, they're all the live demo things that I went through, and hopefully that's been of some use to some of you today. So what are the next steps from here? Well, if you are interested in any further support from our consortium of schools, please feel free to register your interest on the EdTech Demonstrator project. You can then, if you want, next thing is obviously we can support this as well. Put in place your own EdTech plan. Be aware that it'll have to obviously adapt over time. I can't sort of emphasize enough how important it is to have something in place. Review those procedures that you've got in place as well. Specific focus on keeping those students safe while working in remotely or with a hybrid approach. And also, if you do need any support with Google, you can direct them to the Google for Education webpage just by Googling it. If you do wish to contact myself, you can contact me through Twitter at GoldieTeach, or you can also email me through the details that I sent out today for today's webinar. Okay, so we're now at the point. Are there any questions? If there's anyone who has any questions, please feel free to come off quiet microphone mode and please ask them now. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today. Like I said, if you do have any further questions, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you for your time.